Hello people, and have you ever dreamt about running around being invisible? Have you ever dreamt about fisting people? I know I have. Anyway, stick around whilst I show you the power of the fist and the hunter and being able to do it whilst invisible. So the grenade of choice is flashbang. The reason why I've picked this is because it obviously blinds people, but I thought as I'm cutting around invisible and I need to sometimes close the gap between me and someone that I want to fist, the flashbang was probably the way forward, so it stops me getting shot. And of course we've gone with combination blow. So what this does is every time you fist something, it can stack up to 3 times, and every time you kill something, it will give you class energy back. And essentially what you can do is dodge and fist, dodge and fist. It's just a really cool gameplay loop, so pick this one. Then we've gone on to lethal current. So what this does is every time you dodge, it'll essentially jolt the target and also blinds them. And because we're going to be jolting the target every time we defeat them, it will also make us amplified, which is good because we want to run around like a speedy boy. Then I went on with Spark of Amplitude. So what this does is every time you're amplified and you defeat something in rapid succession, it will print out a orb of power for you. And then if you pair this with a Charge of Light mod called Striking Light, what this does is every time you defeat a target, it will also print an orb out for your team. So in essence, every time you fist something, you're going to be printing out metric ton of orbs for you and your team, which is always good. Then we've gone on to Spark of Discharge. So what this does is every time we defeat a target with a arc weapon, essentially it will give us an ion trace. If you pair that with the artifact mod Trace Evidence and also one of the new plunder weapons, essentially you can spawn like 4 ion traces per kill, which is great. Spark of Feedback, you get punched, then you punch them harder. What more is there to like? And then finally, Spark of Resistance. While surrounded, you get like a 25% DR, which is good because we're always going to be surrounded, so why not get punched with less damage behind it? So I went with Assassin's Cowl here over Liar's Handshake, and my reasoning is whenever you kill something, you'll go invisible. It also gives you health back, and the 1-2 punch shotgun isn't nerfed to 80%, and you get the full 350%. So to me, it's a no-brainer because I can then approach my next target invisible and be able to successfully punch them. And of course I've picked Tractor Cannon here. It works really well. This build is you can Tractor Cannon them, which applies a 30% debuff to them, followed by a 1-2 punch shotgun, and then followed by several fists. It's an effective combo, you should try it. Then on to the headpiece. So the first one is Well of Ions. So what this does is whenever we pick up an arc well, it will grant a 30% damage buff to our next melee attack. And then we've picked a couple of siphon mods to the headpiece, so whenever we kill things with arc weapons or kinetic weapons, it'll also drop orbs of power for you. And then on the arms, we've picked Melee Wellmaker. No brainer really. You'll be killing things with your fist all the time, so why not get wells with it? And then just pick whatever artifact mods you need for the content that you're running. On the chest piece, I'm running a couple of resist mods and then Bountiful Wells, so that Melee Wellmaker will drop 2 wells instead of 1. And then we've picked Striking Light here for 2 reasons. One is so whenever we're in a sprint animation, it will give us a 25% damage reduction. And then whenever we're charged with light and we kill something with our fist, we'll drop an orb of power for your teammates, which is good. And then the other 2 is whenever we pick up orbs of power, it will also grant us melee energy. Not that we need it because of the way gameplay works. Onto the class item, we've got Elemental Charge, so whenever we pick up those wells, we'll get charged with light ×2. Trace Evidence for the extra generation of ion traces, and then put whatever you want here. I've picked Bad Amped because of the champion synergy with it, but Amped Up could be a good one to increase your amp time. So yeah, change these ones out to match what you need for the content you're playing. So yeah, let's talk about the gameplay loop really. So it's really quite simple. You go up to a target, you dodge. So whenever you then fist someone, they will then get jolted and cause you to get amplified. And then whenever you kill them with your fist, you'll go invisible. And essentially you just repeat this until you come up against a harder opponent to fight. And then all you got to do is pull out your Tractor Cannon them, then 1-2 punch them, and then punch them twice. 1-2 punch them, 1-2 punch style thing, and just keep doing that really. And then we've also got our flash grenade, so if we need to close the distance between us and the target, you can flash them so they're no real threat to you. It's I enjoy this one more than Liar's Handshake because of the 1-2 punch nerf that Liar's Handshake gets. But yeah, it's quite a fun one. There's not really much to say about it, that the video really plays for itself of the gameplay loop. So yeah, thanks. Please remember to like and subscribe, as it helps grow the channel. I'm amazed by how quickly it's grown. Even though it's 160 when I last looked, it's still growing faster than I'd ever hoped. So again, anyone that's watching that's a regular viewer, I'll thank you, because you're making me motivated to keep pushing these videos out. And again, thank you, and I'll catch you again in the next build video, which should be on Monday because it's the weekend, so I'm going to take a break, as should you all. Again, thank you, and peace out.